You can have each team write down how many points they think they're going to get. And if it matches with what they have, then they get the whole ticket sales of the whole venue.
No.
It's an idea I came upon.
No. Liverpool last manager Jurgen Klopp had this fantastic press conference during COVID.
हाँ.
When the journalist asked him कि मतलब क्या करना चाहिए कोविड के बारे में कुछ बोलिए. And he's like, भाई प्लीज आस्क द साइंटिस्ट कि क्या करना चाहिए, डॉक्टर से पूछो क्या करना चाहिए. मैं फुटबॉल मैनेजर हूँ भाई. क्लिकबेट थंबलाइन फॉर दिस विल बी कि द वर्ल्ड्स नेचुरल सोर्सेज are getting depleted.
Are getting spirited away by Ghibli.
By this Ghibli mania for Ghibli.
I really like my best friend who lives in Canada. He's like, dude, I'm not on any social media. I just like my job. I want to be chilled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but sometimes it's not even your choice. Something you could do and suddenly you're like a viral sensation against your will.
कि सम्राट अशोक ने कुछ ज्ञान दिया था, फिर वो लोग आगे कर रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह.
अच्छा ऐसा भी है क्या?
हाँ.
I don't know this.
We need to have Indian version of everything.
What is the Samrat Ashok wala version? You know the legend of this guy called George D. Yes.
That is what. Ambati Raidu.
And now everybody's joining. Dude, but it's so funny to me that it's like, are you guys just right now discovering that Super Chat should be screened before reading?
Yeah.
Like, you've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
Unka low day ka ball has happened multiple times. I'm like, boss. And then you know what I started realizing? They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They all
I
know
think might have been mistakes शुरू में एक दो बार, but then they are like, okay, this is great.
हाँ.
Yeah.
It's like Vikrant Gupta front foot wala na.
Yeah.
He's like, हाँ मालूम है मैं. करो तुम लोग.
Vikrant Gupta.
Are you following the IPL at all?
Yes, I follow IPL.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I follow IPL.
I didn't expect you to follow IPL.
No,
I thought you were like your face looks like a test match person.
I follow both.
Ah.
I legit, I'm a big fan of test matches and IPL. One days are the ones where it's getting slightly difficult to follow.
Dude, but Champions Trophy, man, was damn good fun.
That was good.
I mean, also because we won.
We won.
If we had lost, I would have been like, fuck all this test ODIs. Yeah.
India winning is just Sorabh. You will relate to this. Because when we won, you know the joy of winning. And then there is always this section of cricket fans who are like, oh no, but India only played at Dubai. Oh, all this was rigged for India. Blah, 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 blah. What is the joy in winning? And I'm like, bhai, please don't give me this sermon. We have grown up watching India getting thrashed for years.
Yeah.
If somebody told us in the late 90s that there'll be a tournament where India will reach the final, I'm like, हाँ भाई, you know what I mean? Like we have seen this team, तेंदुलकर के बाद TV off करने वाला generation. And then, भाई, I'll take this win. I will take this. I don't want this whole rigged in our favor and not traveling and all. If you go through cricket history, the entire history has been rigged in the favor of the other powerhouses of those times, England, Australia, and whatever. So, why not, yaar, bhai, please.
We should have some benefits to developing faster than other nations.
Yeah.
That in cricket at least.
In cricket. Of course.
And also somebody pointed out, they're like, boss, अगर पाकिस्तान में होता तो हम लोग लाहौर में होते पूरे टाइम. तो वहाँ भी तुम लोग बोलते कि अरे home advantage ये सब बकवास. I'm like, boss, there's no way to. And also the thing is, don't do the tournament, no then.
हाँ.
मत करो
फिर. भाई दुनिया देख रही है cricket because of us. It's true.
I mean, हम देख रहे हैं cricket and we are the दुनिया.
We are the दुनिया. Fair. I go to watch, that view thing that comes on Geo and all. Okay, like any random India match, like some whatever. It's like whatever crores. You know the numbers, IPL and Champions Trophy and everything. And then this week was Liverpool-Everton. Huge. This week was Liverpool-Everton. Huge match. Okay, Everton, I mean, it's local derby and all of that. And Liverpool lost the last few matches. That's the context. That there was an international break. They came back. Big match. They had to win because this win will further their title chances and all of that. And the views on that match was like some, ऐसा चिल्लड़ कुछ some 5,000 type.
अच्छा, इंडिया में बस 5,000?
Yeah, like maybe 20,000, maybe 1 lakh. But basically the point is it's like 1 micron or 1 millionth of.
That's damn surprising. I thought India में बहुत like every time at least I do a show, people are like football bro, and I'm like, कौन देख रहे हो क्या तुम लोग?
Yeah, but that number is really small compared to IPL numbers. I mean, there are of course many football fans, especially around us.
Yeah.
But when you extrapolate this to the whole nation, the number is like pitiful.
Dude, if you started a channel which is just called IPL, just I like जैसे Big Boss का 24 hours होता है, and it's just random shots of cricketers training, बस ऐसे ही मीडिया वाला कहीं चल रहा है and all that shit, rain, chances of rain today, any bullshit. You could literally.
It has happened, no? When you follow a tournament like say a Champions Trophy, even IPL, where there is rain delay and all, you go and see the views.
Yeah. People are just watching.
200 times of EPL and Champions League views for sure.
But Champions Trophy I really also enjoyed because like I would watch the whole match because और क्या life में, and then I would watch the analysis of like, did you see the pavilion, the dressing room?
Big fan.
So I saw every episode, and I'm like, boss, this is like 1.5 hours plus half an hour. So I'm watching 2.5 hours of this, and this is getting ridiculous.
They've really cracked it. Pavilion,
really
I think since, I think again I'm getting nostalgic, but growing up, these panels I used to really like Geoffrey Boycott, Gavaskar, Harsha Bogdan.
Geoffrey Boycott is different guy. It's Jeffrey Boycott. Geoffrey Boycott was in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Geoffrey Baratheon.
Geoffrey Baratheon. was a complete guy.
Huge cricket
like,
fan.
Yeah, he's like,
With an accent.
He didn't score 100. No, wait.
Huge Ganguly fan. So I think then I stopped watching these panels for many years. I think after many years we have a show that you can watch.
Yeah.
I think they've really cracked the code.
Absolutely.
And I think also they have the I don't know how the rules of government and BCCI and guidelines work for the other commentators that we see, but I think that really helps them. They can say whatever, and there's a vibe, and they can pull each other's legs and even ex-cricketers' legs and all those old stories. It's fantastic, that panel, to see them like that.
Dude, so I always liked Crickbuzz's analysis of the games and all, but after watching this I'm like, boss, you guys really need to jump ahead because वो vibe के बारे में बात है ना कि मतलब I want to hear Harsha Bhogle talk about some personal life experience in the middle. I want some bakchodi. I don't want just like, अरे Rinku Singh's front foot is the cause. So I'm like, नहीं, I get it. I mean that's what I'm watching it for, but I also want Wasim Akram to say केला क्यों खा रहे हो? Like I want
ये केले खा रहे? ये बंदर है? That is just
very unnecessary. As much as I love Wasim Akram, that was very no need. I'm like,
but that's the thing about life, and Wasim Akram doing this is just so different than anyone else doing it. It's the greatest fast bowler of all time, probably the greatest left-arm fast bowler of all time. I mean, my favorite bowler of all time. And him sitting on a panel saying, "Ye kele kha rahe?" That's just...
It's damn funny.
That's great.
Did you see Khushdil Shah ka bhi controversy?
Oh yes, Toronto repeat. His mom Toronto has repeated.
नहीं पर बीच में एक और भी आता है ना. So this is, and also like I like that this is the subcontinent excuse now. Where remember एक बार गौतम गंभीर ने किसी को middle finger दिखाई थी, and they said, अरे why did you do this? And like they were saying anti-India stuff. So this guy also said that they said anti-Pakistan stuff. So I'm like, that's the now the excuse, and then all the comments will just be like, हाँ हाँ सही किया. I'm like, okay, I guess.
It's like, हाँ, मैं इस पे क्या बोल सकते हैं?
हाँ, कुछ नहीं बोल सकते. India, yeah.
Okay, good. सही किया दोस्त. सही. दिल Pakistan. Have to do.
Now you have to record the footage of that also. Every footage needs to be recorded. So yeah. Dude, I saw New Zealand versus Pakistan. I saw those matches also. And it's damn good fun.
I heard. I didn't follow the tournament, but I heard it there. Really
तो honestly, right, the bowling of New Zealand is एक तो सबके सब चट्टान है वहाँ पर, right? All the new guys also चट्टान and there's something to prove. So this guy called Sears, I think, took 2 matches back to back 5-wicket hauls, and I'm like, boss, ball literally it's over pitched and bouncing from here.
Wow.
So they are like, ये कैसे खेले हम लोग? So they're getting destroyed. It was damn good fun to watch. And in my head I was like, boss, India का भी ऐसा हाल तो नहीं होता, पर एक तो मैच जीत जाते हैं हम लोग, but it would be pretty tough.
India तो at home New Zealand के साथ ऐसा हो गया, that still hurts.
Yeah, we can't say anything.
Abroad तो समझ आता है, like waking up and seeing Sehwag on 95, team all out on 125, like that. I remember. But हाँ, अभी India में भी आ रहे हैं New Zealand से, तो that really hurts.
But listen, okay, welcome to the show, by the way. We should have mentioned that. Mentioned that, but who cares? It's it's a loose show. The show is called 3 Drinks Later. Today we are not drinking because it's very early in the day, or maybe we will. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see.
We had coffee.
Yeah, we had coffee. Yeah. And I'm joined by KV, aka he's the Institute of Education in this country. And I know a lot of IPL chat, a lot of cricket chat, so we'll talk about other things also.
Okay, done.
Let's talk about the biggest controversy in entertainment globally right now, which is the Snow White controversy. Are you following this at all?
A bit.
Huh.
In today's time, you can't really not follow. Something will make their way to your algorithm in some sense. तो थोड़ा बहुत तो सब कुछ आ ही जाता है. Yes, I have been following.
तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे देते हैं लोगों को जिनको मालूम नहीं. So basically, Snow White movie was supposed to get released, and multiple controversies were first the lady Rachel Zegler, I think. She said that Snow White is very dated and it's like very outdated, that this guy's a stalker and blah blah blah. And she's like, she doesn't like the original material. So they're like, now we're going to do woke version of it and whatever. So they're getting angry. And then Peter Dinklage, who I really liked until I started listening to his interviews. Some of his interviews are like genuinely like, you're like, boss, kya bol raha hai tu? So he said that the portrayal of little people is not good in this, and people are like, no, it is the portrayal is like it's magical creatures. It's not like the portrayal of little people. So 7 people got out of a job, and then the people who are not Peter Dinklage, who are little people, are like, boss, you literally took the one job that we had away from us. And then of course she said something about Trump supporters, blah blah blah. So the movie has tanked so far.
Yeah.
And also you see the trailer, and then somebody told me about the climax, which is hilarious. So the climax of the last one is that the dwarves and all, they conquer the queen and all. In this, the climax is that she's trying to take power away from the queen. And the queen is like, people are like, why should we take power away from you? And she's like, because I remember all the guards' names. And then she starts saying, Rickety, Rockety, whatever the fuck. And people are like, we are yours now. I'm like, what the fuck? this is the climax of a $300 million movie. Where some lady's like, I know your name, so I'm great. So yeah.
Oh my God.
So the movie's tagged, yeah.
My lessons from this whole Snow White things are, in today's world, one big lesson is that you have to be likable. That's one thing that I'm seeing across every controversy that comes nowadays, is whenever you talk about any person, especially in a public figure, and you are in a green room, say, chatting with comics about like some celebrity, whether it's an actor, cricketer, politician, it all boils down to whether that person is likable and whether you like it or not. And everything else, all your opinions and worldviews are just, they modify according to that. The biggest problem with Rachel Zegler right now online is that people just don't like her personality. They don't like her. It's just not likable. I'm saying the majority view. Yeah. Anything she does, the way she speaks, the way she reacts to things, the way she answers questions, I don't know where it's coming from, but that has really harmed this movie's chances. And the second thing is how you can't disassociate politics and anything right now. Like the simmering thing below all of this Snow White controversy is the whole Palestine, Israel, etc. as well, right? Like in middle of all of this, she brought in Free Palestine. She literally with Gal Gadot, the symbol of Israel, with her. So that Israel Palestine, who would have thought, will impact a Disney movie? But it is, right? It is crazy. So and this whole controversy, you go through all the contract that Disney has with her and how Disney has asked her not to promote, but she's like, it's my contract to promote. And then, you go through all the comments saying every word she's speaking is reducing the box office collection of the movie and all of that. But
what a great power to have though, yeah. It's like every word, like she should do a reverse contract with Disney. Where she's like, na bolne ke liye paisa do, then shut the hell up finally.
We live in crazy times, Sorabh, yaar. I can't believe we live in these times. It's beautiful. But I'm saying this as like an observer, not like, oh, it's great that these things are happening.
Yeah, but also like actors and all that kind of stuff, like people who are in the entertainment industry, like now you know that Instagram numbers influence whether you're going to get a movie or no, right? So you still need the Instagram numbers, you still need social media numbers. If you're like just an actor with like 1 million followers versus somebody who has like 19 million, they'll always prefer the person who's got 19 million if you're equally this thing. So they are caught in this thing, how do I appeal to my fans? And I'm like, you can't, because like I don't think we knew political opinions of anybody until like the last 15 years maybe. And now everybody's political opinions are constantly out there. I'm like, but yeah, you're also alienating people even though you want to take a stance. And fair enough, you want to take a stance on things and stuff like that, but you can't take a stance on everything all day, every day.
And that's what social media makes you do. Because if you don't take a stand, you have to be really, I don't know if the word is brave or patient or isolated to be like, I am not taking a stand. Because otherwise, social media will make you feel. Your peers, your followers will be like, तेरा क्या है इसमें opinion? And you're like, भाई नहीं है मेरा opinion, या है भी तो मैं अपने साथ रखना चाहता हूँ. But social media makes you feel कि यार Sorabh Pant, please tell me about Israel Palestine. How can you not? And the thing is, you can't pick and choose also, because tomorrow if you talk about say farmers protest, they'll be like, oh, but CA पे तो तूने कुछ नहीं बोला, farmer protest में क्यों बोल रहा है? कुछ तो problem है. You're like, maybe I didn't understand CA, भाई, maybe. Or I didn't read the bill, but farmers protest, maybe I understand farmers law, so maybe I have some opinion, but no, you can't do that.
You have to be an expert on everything at all times. And you have to have an opinion on everything at all times.
And
I'm like, so sometimes I'll hear people say that, no, you should speak. I'm like, everybody doesn't... who made this point, man? I don't know if it was like one of the Bill Burr type persons, where they're like, earlier the conversation on, Norm MacDonald said this, he's like, they're talking about China and they have a China expert and me. They're like, dude, my opinion should not be allowed here. They're like, I don't know anything about China, I'm just making stupid jokes.
100%. So like, you know, Liverpool last manager Jurgen Klopp had this fantastic press conference during COVID.
हाँ.
When the journalist asked him कि मतलब क्या करना चाहिए कोविड के बारे में कुछ बोलिए. And he's like, भाई प्लीज आस्क द साइंटिस्ट कि क्या करना चाहिए, डॉक्टर से पूछो क्या करना चाहिए. मैं फुटबॉल मैनेजर हूँ भाई. माई ओपिनियंस ऑन व्हाट टू डू, वैक्सीनेशन, मास्क एक्सेट्रा मुझे नहीं पता. आई एम फॉलोइंग व्हाट दे आर सेइंग. भाई तू मेरे से पूछ फुटबॉल में क्या करना चाहिए, मैं बोलूंगा व्हाई यू आस्किंग मी अबाउट कोविड. भाई मुझे नहीं पता यार. तो व्हाट इज दिस एक्सपेक्टेशन भाई कि प्लीज नो, इफ यू आर नॉट शेयरिंग एनी कॉज दैट एवरीबडी इज शेयरिंग, again that's the flip side, because then they'll be like, Sorabh, you don't care.
Yeah, you don't care.
You are not empathetic. You're not sharing this. Something has happened and you're not sharing. Like मुझे नहीं करना है share.
Like I've been binging Conan O'Brien for the last since pandemic a lot, right? And now he does, his political opinions are what, right? He's obviously not pro Trump or whatever it is, but वो subtly करता है. It's not like overt like all the time and stuff like that. I'm like and again the thing is that anybody can have whatever opinions they want. But I think if you're doing a multi-million-dollar franchise, you can't alienate 55% of the audience. 60% of the audience is what they said. Like when she said Trump people don't, and then she cried and she said, no matter what you say, people will still be outside watching me. And they're like, nobody's watching. It's like, but it's a tough balance, man. And then all the comments are like, Robert De Niro ne kabhi kuch nahi bola. And I'm like, because social media nahi tha us time pe. As soon as social media came, he started talking immediately and then alienating people. So
especially with these jobs like actors and filmmakers, etc., you have to be extra responsible.
Yeah.
Like what you do affects so many lives. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in Bollywood, when you ask, a lot of our lead actors or superstars don't talk about many issues, and they're like, क्यों नहीं बात करते? They're like, the way the film gets affected, it affects so many livelihoods.
Yeah.
अगर फना के लिए आपने सारे थिएटर कर दिए, कुछ कर दिए, तो आमिर खान है, but every guy who has worked, every distributor, the whole cast and crew, people behind the camera, सबका गया ना life.
Correct.
So if something affects Disney and Snow White, it's affecting so many careers, so many people's livelihoods, so many mortgages and credits, etc., that people would have taken around this film. So I think you have to be extra responsible.
That's so crazy. Just imagine you're in that situation where you worked on a controversial movie and एक बंदे ने एक tweet निकाला and we're like, भाई मेरा EMI 4 साल के लिए गया. That's such a scary idea, dude. वो like
आपका क्या और आपकी टीम के कितने लोग थे यार जिनका उस फिल्म से कितना सारा
नहीं वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. I'm like, if I'm a sound person or whoever, I'm like, बस तूने ये tweet निकाला उसकी वजह से मेरा ये सब निकला. This is like crazy, dude.
That's crazy.
That's insane. What a like that's a shitty. Basically, don't say anything about anything.
Yeah.
Which as Indian comedians we're getting used to now.
Yeah. I तो maintain more or less. I maintain that. मेरे कोई opinion नहीं, मुझे कुछ आता ही नहीं है. मुझे कुछ नहीं पता.
हाँ कुछ नहीं आ रहा है.
कुछ नहीं. क्या है CA मुझे मैं तो पढ़ा ही नहीं मैंने मुझे नहीं सॉरी ये हटा दो यार. या पेंट कर दो या.
So I'll tell you this, okay? This is I thought this was kind of interesting, okay? Which is that we are talking about social media, and so we'll come to this, where this fun fact came out that, and again this is one of those stats where you're like, I'm not sure that this is real, where one lady said that 1.4 million American women are on OnlyFans. Okay, and the number is crazy, and then 50% make above $350 per month, and 5% make a living wage, which is still not a sizable number, but that's a crazy number. And then another stat which I found out in this whole Twitter thread was 14% of Americans aged 16 to 54 are content creators, out of which 6% are making $1,79,000 a year. So I'm like, this creator economy, right? It's endless, or what? This is endless.
I think that number is huge. The last number you said,
$179,000.
Which is lagbhag $200,000 around.
$200,000.
Which is 1.6 crores.
हाँ, उसके आसपास.
Oh, bhai, 6% of those.
Which is 6% of those, 6% are making, which is like a crazy number, man.
That is crazy.
But it's also like, I'm every time this happens, I'm like, so what is it running on, right? Okay, yes, I understand. OnlyFans is so obviously कि मैं तुझे पैसा दे रही हूँ अभी ये दिखा तेरा, whatever, fair enough. But the rest is run on advertising, right? But when does this bubble burst where all we are doing is just watching each other create stuff and watching ads and then spending money on the ads? When does it end? When do we reach a point where you're like, भाई हम बस एक दूसरे को देख रहे हैं, किसी का पैसा नहीं है, तो वो Calvin Klein का ad आ रहा है मेरे पास, नहीं है पैसा चड्डी के लिए. Like, when does this end?
This monetizing angle is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because this content dekhna to I don't think is ever ending, I feel.
Right.
Because it's increasing by the day. Like, I'll sound like a whatever, everyone talks about it. But nowadays you see every time I've taken an auto of late in the last few months, not a single auto driver has not had his screen with something that he's watching. कुछ तो चल रहा है, कोने में मैप डाल देते हैं वो लोग और उस पे चलता रहता है. Now in the last few weeks I've noticed that people who are on bikes also have something in the front. Like वो बाइक सिग्नल पे खड़ा है और कुछ देख रहे हैं वो. I mean earlier it used to be like किसी ने कॉल ले लिया, you know that this figure of just कॉल लेके बाइक चला रहे. Now they are watching. So I think we are constantly watching. उसमें तो कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. Something. कुछ भी चलता रहे पूरे दिन, कुछ भी बस ऐसे 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 करते जा रहे. But this is an interesting angle कि how there has to be a bubble burst in terms of the financial aspect of all of this. Like how much will you,
like if say 20% of Americans are content creators, right? Let's just say, I'm just saying, and then the remaining 80% are content consumers. There's got to be a point where you're like, boss. And also I like how you mentioned that we are constantly creating content when we are in the middle of a podcast trying to get people to do exactly that. Where people are like in the side doing something. One lady told me, she's like, I'm a what did she say, man? Anesthesiologist? Anesthesia, how do you say it? Anus तो नहीं होगा.
Anesthesiologist.
हाँ, जो भी
I think.
जो भी anesthesia.
जो anesthesia देते हैं. Anesthesia giver.
Anesthesia giver. That's correct. So she said, my job in a surgery or whatever is just you give the anesthesia and then you just wait to make sure nothing goes wrong. And she's like, I have nothing to do for hours. So she's like, I'm just listening to your podcast. I'm like, wow. So I imagine like heart surgery इधर चल रहा है और इधर ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि anesthesia क्या होता है?
अबे Yeah, but the financial angle will be really interesting to observe. Because, you know, earlier the whole narrative used to be that they are taking our data, right? Like we are telling big corporations that this is who we are, this is my phone number, this is where I live, this is where I do, this is where I watch. Okay, enough. But that also has to lead to something, right? Whether it is leading to their own advertisements where we are being targeted outside the real ecosystem, I don't know. But I'm sure the big corporations have cracked some financial this thing, or we all live in a matrix.
Yeah, or we live in a because okay, I got into this loop, okay, which I do every year for about 2 weeks or something. I'll just start playing random mobile games. कुछ भी आ रहा है, एक पार्किंग का गेम रहता है, बस को इधर लगाओ, बस को ऐसे पता नहीं मैं क्या कर रहा है लाइफ में. Like इसको अरे लाल वाली बस इधर डाल. It's absolute waste of time. Now I started getting ads for other such games. तो इसलिए अरे तूने बस पार्क किया, हाउ अबाउट अ कार पार्क कर, बाइक पार्क करेगा, एंड देन ऑल ऑफ देम आर जस्ट गिविंग मी एड्स फॉर ईच अदर्स गेम्स. नाउ नन ऑफ देम आर मेकिंग मनी ऑफ मी, नॉट वन ऑफ देम हैव मेड मनी, बट दे स्पेंडिंग मनी ऑन एडवर्टाइजिंग. सो आफ्टर अ पॉइंट आई एम लाइक, व्हाट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ दिस एक्सरसाइज? आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू स्पेंड मनी ऑन एनी ऑफ यू. You probably spent some amount, like let's say you spent 60 rupees chasing me to try and spend money on nothing, but I have not spent money on anything. So what is the point of this exercise?
This is also a nice microcosm of what capitalism and financial markets are. Because what is happening in this case is one company gave another company some data.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they have like data. Yeah, they paid them something. Oh, we found one. Now that game company is using you as one of their impressions that they made to pitch it to some investor. Saying, I have made 9 million impressions in the last and we are the next big thing. Now the investor has paid some money to the guy.
Yeah.
So a lot of financial transactions have happened on the basis of these vague things like impression, valuation, reach and other key matrices, and people are living like life चल रहा है बढ़िया, सब लोग enjoy कर रहे हैं, पैसा कहीं तो
कहीं से आ रहा है, कहाँ
and that's how that is financial market. Every time you see any crisis happen, like the Lehman Brothers का हो गया या any crisis, you're like ये है क्या क्या हो क्या रहा है भाई, कौन पैसा है, कहाँ से क्या जा रहा है, बट कुछ तो हो रहा है दुनिया में.
कुछ तो हो रहा है.
That's what makes me believe that there are, हम लोग बहुत छोटे प्लेयर हैं इस दुनिया में. We are just these pawns, एक पीस चलते हैं. And there are the Rothschilds of the world, or I don't know who is controlling the world. But कोई कुछ कर रहा है और हम बस कार पार्क कर रहे हैं.
रेड
हम इतना कार पार्क कर रहे हैं, कोई वहाँ हम पे पैसा बना रहा है. वी आर जस्ट मैट्रिक्स के वो छोटे छोटे फीटस जो ऐसा, हम वही है दोस्त, हम कुछ नहीं है. With age and time I'm realizing in larger scheme of things we are just like
nothing.
कुछ नहीं है भाई.
Dude, but also every day you find out a different person rules the world. So
Yeah.
पहले it was Rothschild, ये BlackRock या जो भी है. And then somebody put a video recently that Norway runs 18% of the world. I'm like, but with this percent, who runs this planet? I'm not understand. Like कोई बोलता है ना ठीक है कि private equity का पैसा आया. I'm like, पर कहाँ से आया? तुम लोग उड़ा रहे हो ऐसे, पर कहाँ से आया? Like one of my favorite bits is like you'll go to Bangalore and there'll be some startup and they'll be like, on Thursdays we have champagne nights. And I'm like, private equity का पैसा लिया ना because after a year they run out of money. And I'm like, but where does the money go? The money, what is this? It's endless.
Yeah.
And
Who runs the world तो is like, you like Illuminati कर रहा है क्या?
हाँ.
या like, Priory of Sign, yeah, things like that.
Priory of Sign क्या होता है?
वो था ना उसमें दाविंची कोड में सब आता है ना कुछ ऐसा सीक्रेट सोसाइटीज दुनिया चला रही है और कुछ लोग ही कर रहे हैं और हमारे वी हैव इंडियन वर्जन्स ऑफ दिस आल्सो कि सम्राट अशोक ने कुछ ज्ञान दिया था फिर वो लोग आगे कर रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह.
अच्छा ऐसा भी है क्या?
हाँ
I don't know this.
we need to have Indian version of
what
everything.
What is the Samrat Ashok wala version? Are we allowed to talk about it?
I don't think in this time. But I'll just one line is just like they have Illuminati and all. We also have सम्राट अशोक ने कुछ लोगों को दिया कुछ सीक्रेट ज्ञान और वो फिर नेक्स्ट को दिए जा रहे हैं. तो हमारे देश में ऐसा बहुत सारा सीक्रेट ज्ञान छुपा हुआ है जो हम अनर्थ कर लेंगे तो दुनिया ही बदल जाएगी.
Oh my God! अरे ये नहीं मालूम था. Very interesting.
But sorry, edit के हिसाब से flow सोच रहा हूँ. So again this private equity and all I just don't understand ये क्या है. Like even during my MBA all my finance friends वो क्या नौकरी करते हैं क्या काम करते हैं. They just say terms like I am in treasury. And what treasury भाई? कौन सी ट्रेजरी मैनेज कर रहा है भाई? तो आई लाइक आयन बैंक ऑफ ब्रावो से लाइक क्या है ट्रेजरी? नहीं समथिंग इज देयर. प्राइवेट इक्विटी ये वो ये सब कुछ चल रहा है और हम लोग बस यही.
हाँ पर क्या कर रहे हैं मतलब आगे like you ask somebody to define the job and I'm like but this sounds pointless.
Yeah, so there are startups and there are some some investors in series B, C, D. Yeah. अरे बाकी लोगों का समझ आता है कि तू क्या एडिट कर रहा है. एडिट मतलब अच्छा ये वीडियो होता है काट कर ओह ग्रेट अंडरस्टैंड. तू क्या है ईंट उठाता है ओके अंडरस्टैंड. पुल डिजाइन करता है. ये लोग क्या करते हैं यार?
यार मैं एक शो कर रहा था ठीक है तो HR वाली मेरे पास आई शी इज लाइक डोंट डू दिस शी जस्ट केप्ट लाइक पोकिंग अ लॉट. So I said, ma'am, I've done this before. I know what the thing is. She's like, no, if I don't keep doing this, then what is my job? And I'm like, but I've met many other HR people who have a lot of other things to do with their time. So this is disguised unemployment. Right? It's just like poking me for no reason.
So many
I've done like hundreds of corporate shows. Nobody's been constantly just like, all HR people are chilled. They're like, enjoy, yeah, we trust you, do your thing. Nobody's like constantly like so.
So many of our lives and our daily routine is defined by people just trying to justify their jobs.
Yeah.
Think about it. You write the best script in the world. You send it to a client. You know ना कुछ feedback आएगा. कुछ तो आएगा. Because otherwise that person starts thinking कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ फिर. फिर तो ये वीडियो बना के भेज देता है मेरे बॉस को. So has to say something like can it be more quirky Sorabh? So that brand manager thinks कि मैंने अपना एक brand vision तो डाल दिया. And you see that the whole day. Like you कुछ भी people have to give thoda sa feedback just to be like okay this is my
I'm
job.
validated. Yeah.
This is my job.
I find it very
like before that corporate show all of us do this call with client and you see like क्या point था इस call का. But you realize ये point का call था कि सारे bosses वगैरह को भी दिखाना है कि ये आ रहा है हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं हमने मीटिंग ब्लॉक किया आधा घंटा दिन में कुछ तो जॉब जस्टिफाई कर रहे हैं.
My favorite in those calls is that पूरा हो गया ज्ञान and then there's always that last person who wants to say something, right? But there sometimes they'll contribute something interesting and sometimes the last person will be like, I just want to say that I agree with Sandeep.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the
like,
purpose of this
इसी के लिए तो मैं वेट कर रहा था. आधे घंटे में वेट कर रहा सर कि आप संदीप से एग्री करते हैं कि नहीं. That was the
and Sandeep is like, wow, this guy, I'll promote him next time. Sandeep sir.
No, I think Sandeep has covered it really well. Yeah. We'll wait to see you day after tomorrow, Sorabh. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay.
Dude, this should be a sketch, right? This should be a sketch. Hey, we need to make more profits. I agree with what Rajesh said. I think it's a really good idea. We should make more profits.
That reminds me of the other scam in corporate.
Yeah.
From finance, the other big scam is consultancy, right?
Huh.
Like this throughout decades and decades of just consultants being scammers.
Yeah.
We all know this. But now the most interesting thing that has happened in the world is AI, right?
Yeah.
And now legit like a ChatGPT or any good AI can give you what a consultant will take weeks to give, right?
Yeah,
we all know that. Like that's what So now it's very interesting to be like, अब तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो यार? क्योंकि अभी तक तो चल रहा था कि तुम पीपीटी बनाते हो, मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है बनाने का, या तुम चीज़ों को बुलेट पॉइंट में 10 पॉइंट लिख देते हो कि विजन फॉर 2026, ये वो तो चैट जीपीटी 30 सेकंड में बना रहा है, अभी तुम क्या करोगे? सो नाउ इमेजिन दे आर यूजिंग AI to show that they are better than AI. So imagine there's a client which has hired, say, a big consulting firm. So they are sitting whole day on AI to try and show we are better. What to direct AI से ले सकता था. And but I've realized the big scam in this part is किसी भी कंपनी या किसी सेटअप में ना, you want to say something कि यार ये चेंज होना चाहिए, हमें ये करना चाहिए, but you either don't have the authority to do that, और you don't have the balls to do it कि भाई मैं करूँगा और बैकफायर हो जाएगा तो. लाइक अगर मुझे बोलना है कि यार ये ब्लू की जगह ना ये ब्लू कर्टन की रेड कर्टन करना है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है, मुझे लगता है मैं बोलूँगा रेड, फिर मान लो व्यूज़ कम हो गए, कुछ हो गया, लोग बोलेंगे रेड की वजह से हुआ ये वो. सो आई थिंक द होल concept industry of consultancy is relying on the fact that there are some middle management or slightly senior management people all over the world who don't have the balls to say कि ये होना चाहिए. So they hire, this a whole industry is there to just be hired and come and tell me what I want to hear and get charged for that. So I can say कि McKinsey ने बोला ये करने को तो हम कर रहे हैं.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because otherwise there's no, especially with ChatGPT, legit makes no sense. Like honestly, off the record, when I talk to any friend of mine in consultancy, they are like, of course, ChatGPT makes better PPTs than our more efficient vision, synergy, everything, all table, chart, whatever we can do, it does better. There is like, तुम लोग तो आर्टिस्ट हो तो तुम्हारे पास एडवांटेज है अभी कि यू कैन राइट जोक्स विच चैट जीपीटी कैन राइट नाउ एज ऑफ येट फॉर नाउ. बट हमसे तो वो बहुत आगे है, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. बट देर इज अ मैनेजमेंट विच इज लाइक एक नया कोक का वेराइटी करना चाहिए आई थिंक. बट खुद से क्यों बोलूँ? ओके, BCG कम्स ऑन बोर्ड एंड BCG डज दिस, वी डिड मार्केट रिसर्च एंड वी डिड दिस फॉर लास्ट data of every aerated drinker in the world in the last 100 years, and we have realized that you should launch a new version of this, give me money. And then they launch, this is McKinsey ने बोला करने का. That is crazy.
पर दूसरा तो ये कंसल्टेंसी का ये है ना, about firing people, where they are like हमने नहीं बोला ये, we've hired. And so wasn't there that one company, I mean I'm sure you know better, there was a consulting company whose job was just to come into companies to fire people.
There are yeah,
I don't know which one it was, but they had a record of coming. Each time they would come and they were like, we'll fire because of them, not because of us. And the management wants to do it, but they're like, oh, we're doing it through them.
But exactly, same scam. Because आपको करना है, but you can't. So you're like, they have come to optimize our workforce.
Optimize
workforce. So it started with firing, then it became downsizing, which was a euphemism. And then it is optimizing workforce. So
downsizing, what a funny term it is. Even when it used to happen, it's like, what is the outsizing? What is the, where did the word come from? Downsizing comes from?
Upsizing.
Upsizing का उल्टा is downsizing.
I think वहीं से आया होगा.
Genius है, I love these terms. और उसको वो term create करने के लिए भी एक consultancy firm था. Who's like, what is the best way to say that you're getting fired? Is downsizing. And oh my god, fantastic! It's all these terms. Like, okay, right now, oh my god, the consultants are here. Hey, did you hear about that? Did you see the video of that crow who's saying "Papa"?
I think so.
Dude, it's crazy. Now again, I don't know if this is AI, but it doesn't seem like AI. But this lady who found this crow in a village in Maharashtra, and she was raised the crow in the house apparently. So the crow is like, "Papa, oh मला काही तुझी झाला." Like he's talking like words and sentences.
Oh, I saw this reel, but I thought see.
Apparently it's real. But again, now you can't tell if this anything is AI. You're like, this is a.
Now you can't.
Like so, right now this Ghibli ka thing was happening, right? Where everybody's doing Ghibli. And that Sam Altman, right? He said, "Can you guys relax? We are working over hard." And now this is how little I understand AI. I'm like, पर तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो? ये तो AI कर रहा है ना? Right. So I just imagine that तुम डाल देते हो और AI खुद करके कुछ कर देता है. I didn't even realize that human beings are involved in the middle. So are human beings involved in the middle? What is their job with Ghibli? What do they do with what do they do? I don't know. How does this work?
So what Sam Altman's problem with Ghibli is basically the processing power that it takes to do anything. Like for example, आपको याद है जब हम कॉलेज में होते थे तो किसी के कंप्यूटर पे वीडियो गेम नहीं चलता था. ये काउंटर स्ट्राइक तो मेरे पे चलेगा ही नहीं. तो लाइक क्यों? तो तेरे को ग्राफिक्स कार्ड लगाना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. So you're like, oh, okay. So you put graphics card which is good enough to handle that kind of computation in your computer, right? So essentially AI or even Google search. Let's start with that basic. When you do Google search, something happens somewhere, right, to give you those results. With AI and ChatGPT, that something has become bigger, right? So you need like processing units of certain capacity to give you the results that we seek. So every time we put anything, which is even basic ChatGPT, forget Ghibli right now, or forget images, just tell me about whatever. There is something happening in some GPUs, which is graphical processing units. The GPUs are more associated with image searches when we do. So that takes a lot of computational power. So हम जब ये ऐसे कर रहे हैं, very layman thing मैं बोल रहा हूँ, हम यहाँ पे search कर रहे हैं, somewhere there is some process which is happening inside a processing unit. That takes a lot of power and resources. So when you do something which involves images, that becomes even more. And when you do Ghibli, that takes even more. And into when something becomes viral. So this is one of the first viral thing that has happened in terms of the image in AI, right?
Yeah.
अभी तक हम अपना एक कुछ ऐसा image बना रहे थे. Give me a podcast thumbnail kind of a thing. Now this is everyone is doing it. So imagine the GPUs there, which the word they are using is melting. Because melting in the sense कि इतना उस पे काम आ गया है, like इतना heat generate हो रहा है कि it's like not literally but almost. So the thing is कि so many queries from all over the world related to image transformation takes too much computational power. So it comes back to taking more water, taking more electricity, taking more natural resources eventually. So that is, so the clickbait thumbline for this will be कि the world's natural sources are getting depleted.
Are getting spirited away by Ghibli.
By this Ghibli mania for Ghibli.
And that's crazy. But if somebody actually knows exactly what happens, like because you described it very well, but I'm sure some of these like AI engineers, is that even a term? I'm sure there's somebody. Yeah. Because the number of people nowadays you talk to in a show also, you're like, भाई क्या करता है? Like AI में कुछ कर रहा है. I'm like, क्या कर रहा है?
So disclaimer, what I am saying is extremely palatable, accessible, simple version of
for stupid people like me. Yeah.
No, but there are of course इसमें भी दो तरह के audience होते हैं ना podcast में. One is like, yeah, you are right, but this is exactly what happened. This is what GPU means. And there is of course 20% audience like, अरे ऐसे नहीं होता, अरे melting क्या होता है?
I would say comment मत छोड़ो, create a rant video against Kumar Varun. That's a better way to waste your time.
Talking of, I actually have a rant on Ghibli, if I can, little bit. I want to use your platform for a rant.
My platform, yes.
Because I think us millennials have still not got into this phase where we take our phone, we start talking. Hi guys, तो मुझे ऐसा गिबली का लगता है ना कि दुनिया में, so we need a conversation. तुम record कर लो अपनी जगह, but I want somebody to listen.
You need somebody to react to you.
I can't get it. People, the people doing Ghibli. I don't know, man. I just.
Yeah, they also like when you do the piece to camera videos, in your head, I've never imagined who I'm talking to.
Yeah, so.
Which is very interesting when you think about it. I'm just talking generically to somebody.
Yeah.
But it's not like a person. It's not an entity which is giving me a response. I'm not even imagining the response, which is so weird.
Yeah.
When you think about it, the piece to now that you mentioned this, I'm like, this is very strange.
So that's why I can't do it. Whatever little I would have done also for quizzing or brand is because karna hai. But I can't. I can't imagine going, guys, तो स्नो वाइट का क्या है? मुझे लग रहा है कि यार गैल गैडोट वैसे बड़ी बेकार एक्टर है, नहीं मतलब जस्ट लाइक तो हाउ किससे बात?
That was a viral video, right? That's the most viral.
I don't want to get viral. I'm that's why I travel through Mumbai traffic to sit here so I can talk to you about world. I can't talk to you about भाई hello good morning. सुना क्या गिबली वाला जो चल रहा है?
Dude, like when क्या नाम है, हिंदुस्तानी भाव, right? Like so at least he's, I mean whatever, at least he's coming with a particular emotion कि हाँ मुझे सब चीज़ पे गुस्सा करना है, right? And I'm like that I can understand that you're talking to with anger, but you're still not talking to an audience. There is nobody.
Yeah.
You're just talking to you're talking to versions of yourself that exist in the world. That is so weird, dude. Now, is this your rant about Ghibli?
Oh no. Okay. My rant. See, Ghibli has certain things which I agree with. For example, the whole controversy, the whole Ghibli controversy.
Which is what?
Which is the whole like. Have you been following the people posting about why we should not do Ghibli?
No. What is the logic?
Oh.
No.
Okay. So little bit of context. Ghibli is whatever the creators in Japan. Okay, no.
No, I know who Ghibli is.
No,
My children love Ghibli.
some
We've seen videos and all.
Okay, so the controversy of Ghibli is a lot of people are saying that this is not ethical. It takes too much time to create this, you know, and people are just creating ऐसे ही, so ये नहीं होना चाहिए, artist के लिए सही नहीं है, etc. That's been one narrative.
Interesting.
Okay. A lot of people are sharing things. The quote of the original creator saying कि ये art के लिए सही नहीं है, is not respecting. People take months to create an image which you are creating in a second, so that's not fair. My rant with this was, I completely get some parts of the controversy, which is the copyright laws. If this is infringing on their, if they have copyright around this and ChatGPT is just giving it to people, okay, should not be done. Or the ethical part that, you know, you are just taking somebody's, you know, like again, it's related to copyright, right? कि भाई मतलब ये तो तुम नहीं कर सकती, तो सिर्फ वही लोग कर सकते हैं, आप कर रहे हो तो ये गलत है. Okay, I get that. My problem with the whole controversy is this: when I'm seeing a lot of people saying कि इतने लोग इतने टाइम बना के गिबली बनाते हैं और तुमने ऐसे कर दिया, ये टेक्नोलॉजी का गलत इस्तेमाल है दोस्त. Have you been seeing these posts?
No.
So people, at least on my timeline, I have seen so many people post. Sorry, मैं आपको edit point दे रहा हूँ यहाँ से. At least on my timeline, I have seen so many people post.
You realize that we don't take an edit point. We just continue talking.
I was thinking if you
I
want
like
to cut
you're being very considerate, and I tell my editor like डाल दे.
I was thinking if you want to cut a reel or something later, you can cut from here.
That's well thought out. Yeah, you're a true AI generative human being. Yeah.
A lot of people on my timeline have been posting about how we have to support artists, and that's why I'm not doing Ghibli. That has been a theme in the last few weeks, which I find a little either hypocritical or little like भाई ये तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Because then where do you stop or where did you start? कि आप ये बोल रहे हो कि गिबली एक्चुअल बनाने में महीने लगते हैं और बहुत से आर्टिस्ट काम करके बनाते हैं और आपने ऐसे ही बना दिया अपना फोटो, ये तो गलत है भाई. देन दिस इज़ माई ओनली डिस्कॉर्डेंट नोट विद दिस होल गिबली कंट्रोवर्सी कि भाई अगर आपको ऐसे ही करना है तो फिर आप जब वेकेशन पे जाते हो, यू नो, यू गो टू महाबलेश्वर, यू गो टू टेबल टॉप माउंटेन, देयर आर दीज वंडरफुल आर्टिस्ट सिटिंग साइड में जो कि पेंटिंग कर रहे हैं, लोगों का स्केच बना रही है, तो आप फिर वहाँ फ़ोटो मत लो मोबाइल से नेक्स्ट टाइम, यू नो, डोंट टेक योर फोटोज, डोंट टेक योर कैमरा फोन्स and start taking your whatever couple photos, group photos. Stop, go to that person and ask them to draw your photos. Please, this is my request. If you genuinely feel for artists, they are wonderful artists, they will make money. You sit, you support them. तुम 4 घंटा बैठो, आपका एक एक करके इमेज बनाएंगे. Don't do this. अपना मोबाइल से फोटो मत लो. Where does it stop, भाई? Where you every time technology comes, you sound like Luddites यार. मतलब every time a technology comes, कुछ ना कुछ तो उसका इफेक्ट होता ही है ना यार. Then यार, like, why are you making movie posters? You know, we used to have nice painters, M.F. Hussain being one of them, who used to paint film posters. करना paint यार, पूरे देश में paint कर करके लगाना यार. It never, I have thousands such examples, right? Like why do we have printing press, which is considered to be the greatest human history milestone? We had amazing calligraphers before that who would write books. They'll take years, ages, but they'll write. Why did you start printing press?
I think so. So this is like basically like let's say there's a Kumar Varun type of joke, right? And I get AI to make me a Kumar Varun type of. Let's say you're a roaster, and it's like, okay, Kumar Varun is now, I'm going to use your image to roast me, and it's like, hey, Kalpana is XYZ whatever because she's a Luddite, as you said. I don't know what that word means, but I think it's somebody who plays Ludo, right? So I think that's the thing that I assume that's what people are saying against this Ghibli thing.
So that part I agree with. The ethical part of somebody taking somebody's, you know, like we discussed, like Sorabh Pant format मैंने करके चिपकाना शुरू कर दिया. That I'm completely with. Completely support this. I don't get this tech वाला part where people are like नहीं ये artist का वो हो रहा है. You know, like Luddites were basically people who, when Industrial Revolution happened in the UK, they would go and destroy the factories because they are like हमारा काम जा रहा है क्योंकि मशीन कपड़े बना दे रही है. So that gave the term कि स्मार्टफोन तो नहीं करना है.
But why were they called Luddites?
Because
बता ना, मालूम है तुझे, मालूम है?
मुझे अभी एग्जैक्ट याद नहीं आ रहा. Why were they called Luddites? We'll check.
कुछ तो
ये एडिट कर देना दोस्त मेरे पोजिशनिंग के लिए.
कुछ मत निकालो, humiliate him.
I think the party was called Luddite or something.
We'll figure it out.
So again, that reminds me कि जब इंडिया में अंग्रेज आए,
हाँ,
हमारे हैंडलूम वीवर्स और जो कारीगरी करते थे वो दुनिया में हमसे अच्छा कोई नहीं करता था. इज व्हाट वी हैव रेड, राइट? बट आया वो कन्वीनियंट कपड़े आना शुरू हुए वहाँ फैक्ट्री से और सब मूव कर गए और हमारा पूरा रोजगार, हमारी पूरी जीडीपी, हमारी पूरी इकोनॉमी, हमारी पूरी हिस्ट्री बदल गई.
राइट.
इस वजह से बिकॉज पीपल वर जस्ट कन्वीनियंटली वेयरिंग दिस. सो माई प्रॉब्लम विद मोस्ट इशूज इज तो जाना है तो फिर ऑल आउट जाना यार, फिर गो ऑल आउट. तो मुझे करना ही नहीं है कि टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करके आप आर्टिस्ट का वो कर रहे हो. आई विल ट्रस्ट यू इफ यू स्टिल वेयर थिंग्स दैट आर हैंड मेड बाई पीपल. यू आर नॉट वेयरिंग दीज फास्ट टी शर्ट्स, जीन्स, ये वो. You still don't take photos. You ask painters to make you. You don't take printouts. You write everything.
You don't make bread. You just eat the yeast directly.
Yeah. और आर्टिस्ट को सपोर्ट करो तो पूरा करो दोस्त. ये क्या जस्ट फॉर सोशल मीडिया मुझे कूल बनना है कि आई हैव back to the point which we started with. I need to have a stand on Ghibli, otherwise I'm slightly...
It's also interesting to me like how I have a feeling 99% of people who are doing the Ghibli trend have never seen a single thing that Ghibli created. And by the way, if you listen, this Ghibli trend is a great time to like... Spirited Away is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. It was a fantastic movie. And if you have kids, dude, some of the movies for Ghibli for kids, because especially I notice with Pixar and a lot of them very entertaining for children, but there's so much of color and so much of everything that it's a lot. These movies just calm you a lot. Like I what is the movie, man? My Neighbor Totoro and the one with the fish. I've forgotten the name now. It's really great for children, man. Heron I haven't seen. I've completely blanked out of the name. But I'm saying if you have young children, especially like above the age of even 7, 6 also, they'll enjoy that. And it's actually a way more calming experience than a lot of modern technology, like a lot of modern, specifically American-based filmmaking. So yeah.
Yeah, so exactly why it's working for even people who are not aware of what Ghibli is, right? Yeah. Because suddenly the images are very soothing.
Yeah.
You look at any image and you're like, oh, that's cute. That's nice.
Yeah, it is very soothing. And it's like everybody's smiling and happy.
Yeah. There's a reason it's viral. Right?
We'll probably drop this line, but ever since the Ghibli trend happened, I almost wondered, hey, can we have a Ghibli version of people breaking down a comedy venue? But okay, so just getting like everybody wants to be now a content creator, which is kind of interesting. And I'm like, I think you know when a lot of people were shitting on Vine या जो भी था क्या था यार उस टाइम पे TikTok था या TikTok पे लोग पागल हो रहे थे इंडिया में. And a lot of people, what is that war? YouTuber versus TikToker जिसमें कुछ तो था. And then I spoke to Kamara about it, and he's like, yeah, dude, a lot of people from like small towns and villages are getting a chance to express themselves. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think of that. Fair point. And I feel the same way about like this, where it's like, yeah, a lot of people who've not had a platform are getting a chance to express themselves in different ways, etc. But like there was a story that came of this guy who sold his wife's jewelry to buy a bed car, to make a bed car. Did you follow this?
No.
So he's got a bed car which cost him 2 lakh rupees, and he's just driving it around, and his idea was that I'm going to go viral in West Bengal. And I was tracking him. I wanted to see how many actually like views he got or whatever it is. And where is it gone, man? Sorry, let me go through my many notes, you know. Where is it gone, dude? Okay, whatever. There it is, yeah. So this guy called Noya BSK53. He's gained 30,000 followers after selling his wife's jewelries, 2 lakh rupees on, like, which is a sizable income for him. And one of his followers, by the way, includes Sumaira Sheikh, which is hilarious to me. Exactly the kind of stuff Sumaira Sheikh would consume here. And so it's making him work, right? And people are very impressed with this bed car. Now, cut to there's a lady who showed up at the IPL match. Okay?
Oh, yeah, this I know.
And she just said, "Kaise Dhoni out ho gaya," right? Went from 800 followers to 384,000 overnight. Right? Just for kaise out ho gaya. She's doing ads with Swiggy Instamart. So I'm like, that's pretty lopsided, right? This guy's like invested his life savings to make a bed car. This lady like, yeah, Dhoni out here, 384, here is a brand deal. So it's insane, right?
It's crazy. That's why I keep coming back to the fact that we live in crazy times, Sorabh. It's what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Like content creator, I think everybody already is a content creator. Come to think of it, we are all content creators in some sense. Like even our parents are going to a party, taking photos of the party with their colleagues or retired colleagues, and they are sharing it on all family groups.
Yeah.
You know, went to this party yesterday, met Mr. Ye, Mrs. Ye, her son is in the US now, whatever. All these updates are coming to our WhatsApp groups, right? So they are also content creators in a very limited space, and they are also seeking the same things that the big ass content creators are seeking.
Yeah.
They are seeing how many people reacted,
Yeah,
how many people replied, did people see, did people call me after seeing, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's just an extrapolation of that to this. My mom told me this thing that changed and that is where this thought is coming from. During lockdown, I think I had done some video somewhere, and I was telling her about it, and she said कि जल्दी मुझे भेजो, फैमिली लिंक में, फैमिली ग्रुप पे भेजना है. तो 2-3 बार she said something like this कि अरे उससे मिल रहे हो, फोटो लेके देना, फैमिली ग्रुप में भेजना है. फिर अगेन तो आई वाज लाइक अरे मम्मी ऐसा क्या है, फैमिली ग्रुप पे भेजना हर चीज़ फैमिली ग्रुप पे भेजना. एंड शी इज लाइक मेरा तो इंस्टाग्राम यही है ना बाबू.
हाँ.
Man, that just changed the way I looked at family groups. Because तब तक मुझे लगता था I used to make fun of these family groups. Then I realized this is their Instagram.
Interesting.
When we are waking up putting stories of this is what I read, this is what I watched, this is what I ate. This is their. So they are all, everyone is a content creator already.
Yeah, I'm just imagining cut to our mothers doing like influencer dancing now.
Yeah.
They play a song and they're like, "This is my Instagram, beta."
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Yeah, everybody has their version of the Instagram. Yeah.
So everybody has their already. Everybody already has a version of their own social media, their own sphere of influence, etc., etc. But that brings us to this, which again, it's any new trend or any, like, you look at anything in the world, like look at capitalism.
Yeah.
You will have all sorts of examples, right? There is some company like, I don't know, Ford, which made cars, assembly line, और उससे ये हो गया. आई एम श्योर जब उस टाइम कोक भी आया था तो कोई यही बोलता होगा कि पता है पानी में, अभी पता है ये कंपनी क्या कर रहा है, ये क्या कर रहा है, पानी में से कुछ तो डाल के काला काला ड्रिंक बन रहा है, लोग पागल हो रहे हैं. Who would have thought कि it will become Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Similarly, so these were at every point in history there's something which was happening which was ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And then it became like normal. Everything you look back and you're like, bhai, there's so many examples, right? So I think anything like from capitalism to social media will always give us these ridiculous cases which will maybe become normal at some point. Don't be surprised if 30 years later it becomes a trend that if you go to watch a match, you have to give some expression.
No, but dude, it's already become the trend.
Already. So 30 seconds later.
Yeah. Literally 30 seconds later. Where you're seeing a lot of like very attractive people in the match, and they don't care what's happening. They're just there to get noticed and to be, which I'm like, fair enough. Yeah. You bought a ticket, you do whatever you want. It's a public place or whatever it is. But also, I find sometimes the stalker tendencies of it a little crazy, right? What's her ID? I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I've asked only thrice a day. I ask for various.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there is a version to it where it's like not everybody wants this. Not everybody wants to go from 800 to 384,000 overnight. Yeah. Maybe some people want to be left alone. So I find that a little odd.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen many cases, right? People have gotten viral with, they didn't want it, they didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Suddenly it really upends their life. In fact, when you talked about the bed car thing, did you see that Netflix series that came out about this murder?
Adolescence?
No.
That's the only Netflix series I know everybody's
okay. I forgot her name. I just watched it, which was again a YouTuber. It's a great series based on, of course, true life. And she and her husband / partner also had this plan of just driving across the US and become a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And obviously things took a very drastically worse turn and she was murdered, etc.
Right.
There is a documentary. So she released just one video on YouTube, okay? One video. And so I also went and checked that video. Us video kya hai? Now it has like, when it released, it only had like 20-25,000 views.
Right.
Okay, after all of it, literally giving her life in some sense for that video. And now it has like millions because of the documentary. People are going and people are commenting and all. And every comment is this only, कि पहले क्या होता तो नहीं होता ना ये सब.
अच्छा ऐसा अच्छा.
अभी क्या फायदा उसको व्यूज देके और लाइक्स देके. I know YouTube is monetizing that to give it to like domestic violence
right.
के लिए. But it's crazy. Cases like these. It's a crazy case.
Like not everybody wants to be famous and not everybody should want to be famous. Like I know so many friends of mine who are very talented, like good looking, whatever, and they're like, नहीं चाहिए मेरे को 300 followers चाहिए. And I really like my best friend who lives in Canada. He's like, dude, I'm not on any social media. I just like my job. I want to be chilled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but sometimes it's not even your choice. Something you could do and suddenly you're like a viral sensation against your will, which is a rare human. So now I'm more impressed by people who are not interested in social media.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's become like where people are like, I don't want to go viral. I'm like, you exist. Congratulations and thank you so much. That's a great person.
So my life agenda since all of this started has been, and Rahul and I often talk about it, we want to be optimally famous. I don't want to be too famous.
Yeah.
No, it'll sound very saintly or bookish to say this, but I'm very happy with the level of fame I am. Like, very optimal.
Yeah.
It's not that popular that I can't like walk on the roads or do whatever, like have a chai रोड के साइड में पी रहे हैं, कुछ भी कर रहे हैं लाइफ में. अभी इसमें हम क्या क्या बोल रहे हैं उतना भी नहीं सोच रहे जितना बहुत फेमस होते तो सोचते हैं. लाइक अगर हम बहुत फेमस होते तो अभी पीआर टीम थोड़ा अभी देखती इस पॉडकास्ट में हम क्या क्या बात करने वाले हैं. यू नो, लाइक देयर विल बी so many things, every sentence is being deconstructed at some forum. उतना तो नहीं है ना, पर ऐसा भी नहीं कि कोई नहीं देख रहा.
Correct.
रेस्टोरेंट में बैठो तो एक दो लोग तो देख लेते हैं कि वही है क्या. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद दिस. इट्स द ऑप्टिमल.
Dude, I'll tell you, this yesterday 2 hilarious things happened to me at J-Spot, okay? So I'm about to go up, so I was just like, let's go get some air outside. So I'm outside J-Spot, and J-Spot is a great comedy club in Juhu. You should come check it out. And there's a blackboard which has a list of the comedians performing. So it's me, Vinny, Srinivasan, whoever, the list is there. These 3 ladies pass, okay? And they're younger women, and younger women don't tend to be my fans. Right? But they're excited. They're looking at the board. They're like, oh my God, Sorabh Pant is here. And I'm standing right next to the wall like, yeah. And it's like looking like that, like, hi. And they take a photograph of the board. And I'm just like, they're like, it's me, guys. They just don't notice. They're like, who's this Vela guy on the side? Just standing looking at us. Like, it's me, literally. So anyway, I get done with the show, and like, it's like a sold out show. I killed, okay? I'm like, oh my God, feeling really good about stand-up and like all that shit. I go outside, I'm waiting for my Rapido to come, saying hi to a few people, and they're like, great job, blah, blah. These 2 ladies, I'm standing right here waiting for my Uber. These 2 ladies, okay, they see me. And one of them very pointedly, looks at me and she's like, you know what, I just like that short Bangalore guy. Everybody else was okay. And she just walked off. So I messaged Vinny Srinivasan. I'm like, dude, you're the short Bangalore guy. He's like, first of all, I'm not from Bangalore. So like, I like how this lady put all of us back into our reality. But it's like, yeah, you're okay. Just chill out. And I'm like, you like that evenness in your life where it's like, dude, just relax. It's like, you're good, but relax.
I like.
And I like optimal popularity.
Yeah, it's perfect. Just enough to give you some brand work, some money, whether through shows, etc., to have a comfortable life, like in the sense कि अच्छा घर हो, घर पे कोई कमी ना हो, घर पे पैसे भेज सको, ट्रैवल कर लो, ये सब इतना उतना ही चाहिए दोस्त.
Correct.
बस बहुत स्ट्रेस है ज़्यादा कमांगा. I can see it around right now. We can legit say that we know people who are very famous, and I see their lives, and I really don't aspire to live that life. There was a phase, of course, in life where I was like, यार मुझे भी ऐसा कहीं जाऊँ ना तो लोग पागल हो जाएंगे, मुझसे तो लोग सब देखने लग जाए. नहीं, मत देखो. मैं हाथ से खाना मुझे बिल्कुल कॉन्शियस फील नहीं करना है कि मैं रेस्टोरेंट में ऐसा लपेट रहा हूँ, एकदम ऐसा पापड़ खा रहा हूँ.
No, but that's like Ashish Vidyarthi has turned a whole Instagram thing into that. So you can be Ashish Vidyarthi of. I mean, he's also now doing stand-up. So you can't. I was going to say Ashish Vidyarthi stand-up. You can't even do that now. He's taken everything. He's taken everything from Ashish Vidyarthi has.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, again, talking about this whole, everybody wants to get viral, right? And everybody thinks that this is their moment, right? People are literally thinking like, ye hai mera pal. And I like when it backfires for people who are just not nice people, right? Like, so the story came out about this lady who says, who threw coffee at Calvin Klein for misbehaving with her. Okay, so she throws coffee on them and she's recording with them. Ye lady, isko mere saath, she doesn't know how to behave herself. I'm going to show her. Watch the recording right now. And as soon as she uploaded that, people are like, we already know you're wrong because of the way you're talking. Okay? So she throws a coffee and that lady with the Calvin Klein is like just being chill and calm. And everybody's like respect to her as opposed to the psycho. And I'm like, I like when that happens, when people are trying to cash in on the thing. But now the opposite side of this is that she's still going to get famous.
Yeah.
She's still going to get followers. She should still be on Alt, Big Boss or whatever that thing is. And I'm like, this is endless. Where behaving badly is still the number one way to get popular. which is in whatever format. I'm like, just go around throwing coffee at random people everywhere. People are like, you're a horrible person, but I'll follow you to see what other drama you do next. Which is crazy.
That's crazy, no?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Why are you following these people? I'm not understanding people, the mentality that you have to keep following people who are out of their mind.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to see what they do next. Why do you want to see how they destroy the world?
Yeah. I think
It's
there
horrible.
is something very primitive inside humans, which lends a very visceral instinct of just watching these things and enjoying.
Yeah.
I don't know where it comes from. I remember like Big Boss, like the heydays of Big Boss, when people used to love, like people who used to shout on the show, fight on the show, like really being bad people on the show. And people used to like wait for the episodes to watch कि अभी ये किस पे चिल्लाएगी या किस पे चिल्लाएगा, किस पे. And I used to wonder then also, but now I think there is something inside us which makes us like enjoy watching what these guys are
Is
up
it
to.
that your domestic life is harder, so you're seeing it reflected in it, or is it that your domestic life is chilled out and you're seeing this and you're like, look at these people, or is it both?
I think it's both.
Because neither of us can endure it.
Yeah,
I can't endure so much drama.
I can't. But I think it's a combination of both. Sometimes I don't know, at some subconscious level it makes you feel superior.
Yes.
That I am not this guy.
Yeah.
देखो दुनिया क्या क्या कर रही है भाई, मैं तो ये नहीं. हमारा घर तो बहुत बढ़िया, मेरे दोस्त तो बहुत अच्छे हैं. Maybe you get validation somewhere subconsciously कि यार हम तो अच्छे इंसान हैं, हम तो ऐसा कॉफी नहीं फेंकते लोगों पे. And some, you know, not yet.
high like barometer. अरे भाई इतना अच्छा, मतलब वो कॉफी नहीं फेंकता किसी के ऊपर.
भाई शॉपिंग करके निकल गया, बिल मांगा, बिल मिलने में टाइम लगा उसको, कार्ड एक्सेप्ट नहीं हो रहा था, यूपीआई नहीं चल रहा था, फिर भी कैशियर पे कॉफी नहीं फेंका भाई ने.
बोबा फेंका, ठंडा होता है.
बोबा फेंका भाई, चिल हो गया उसका. Maybe it makes you feel this thing, and maybe you know, like they say, people, why do people love to watch fights or WWE or like gladiatorial fights, etc. Is because कहीं genes में है हमारे, like we are cavemen. We used to love people fighting for different things, for food, for mating, I don't know what else. तो कहीं ना कहीं तो है, हमको मजा आता है लड़ाई देखने में.
I, by the way, have a very exciting update for you, Kumar Varun. Inspired by our last conversation.
Yes.
I have now watched 4 seasons of Breaking Bad. And from scratch, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, this is like shit. It's insane.
Right? So just one more season left.
There's just one more season left. And also I realized I mean, you're talking about, it's connected to what we're talking about, because I realized that I don't understand people who can binge Breaking Bad.
Oh no.
How are you, I'm like, the emotional turmoil and stuff like that's happening with these characters. I'm like, I need a break of 4 days to process all this information. And also I've changed my mind about Skylar White for the moment. I have come around to being like, hey, fine, she's cool.
Yeah,
go cheat on your husband. Enjoy yourself. Your husband is an asshole. He's like a real dick. And I have never been on a show which has taken me on such a journey with so many characters. You like Jesse, then you're like, what a lund. And then you're like, the only person you feel consistent about is Walter White's son. Like, I feel consistent. I don't know if something changes in season 5 or whatever, but I'm like, everybody else, like, my opinion of everybody is changing with each episode, and each transition is gradual. And then what's that? Esposito, what's that guy's name? Dude, even with him, like, you're like, whoa, fucking great villain. Then you're like, oh wait, now I empathize with you. Fuck, crazy show.
I'm so jealous
Holy
of you
shit,
right now.
dude.
I'm so jealous. Like, you have one season. You have I don't know if you can zoom in. You have one final season of Breaking Bad that you've never seen.
Never seen.
And you're going to watch it for the first time. Oh my God. You're going to watch this episode called Ozymandias. I think it's the penultimate episode. Which is the greatest TV episode of my
shit.
God.
I'm very excited about it.
Oh my God. But talking about Skylar White, did you know she was one of the backup dancers in a Backstreet Boys video? If that makes you...
I can see that making sense.
Everybody. Please, guys, please watch. Video mein she's there. Everybody.
Dude, but it's like crazy writing, man. Like, I'm literally like the you know, like, I was again trying to rewatch some people's critiques of season 7 of Game of Thrones. Or they completely, and I'm like, you watch season 6 and just move on. Don't even get to season 7, because I still enjoyed Game of Thrones more than Breaking Bad. But you can tell that by the way they are going with it, it's going to be a superior ending and make it a superior show overall. But all they needed was 6 episodes more. And they could have pulled a Breaking Bad with the validation of of her behaving the way she did with like burning up the place. All it needed was 6 more episodes.
Yeah.
Like it's so shitty that happened.
Yeah, I think Game of Thrones last season is one of the biggest disappointments, so to speak.
Yeah.
It still hurts because I think we talked about it.
We talked about last time also.
I rewatched, and even during re-rewatched, I don't know how many times I've seen Game of Thrones, and it hurts every time when you reach that last season. I think, Bran the Breaker? What? Oh my God! What is happening, bhai? But Breaking Bad, yeah, I will keep saying this. It's the greatest drama at least ever written. And then we'll talk about Better Call Saul. Once you're done, maybe
Better Call Saul, I watched 2 seasons
in our
of,
next year,
which I also
podcast.
enjoyed.
No,
Yeah.
now you have to start from.
Yeah, now oh fuck, man, shit. Now I have assignments from you.
Yeah. Finish it, soak in, take a year if you want.
Yeah.
Then start from.
Yeah, I don't know what the rush of consuming content is.
No
आराम से
problem.
देखो मतलब क्या है.
Same.
But exactly what you said, right? I'm glad I took this time to watch it because now I'm in I realized I couldn't. There was a lot of stuff happening in my domestic life which couldn't allow me to watch another thing where stuff is happening in somebody's domestic life. It was just I needed the distance, and now things are a little bit more chilled.
Yeah.
So now I'm being able to focus on this, which is kind of interesting. Like you have to be mentally in a place to even be able to consume certain things.
And this ties back to our earlier conversation about people consuming content all the time. Because people now, in general, do not have the time or mental space to sit and watch things. And that is why they are just constantly engaging with just things. Side mein kuch to chal raha hai.
Yeah.
And that is why that kind of content, which is supposedly call it non-cerebral or call it basic, no matter what term you want to give it, or just call it down hilarious or relatable, whatever. That is why it works. So everything ties. You meet newer, when I say newer people, I mean like younger people, mostly. They don't have time to proper बैठ के एक शो देखा, ब्रेकिंग बैड का एपिसोड देखा, 2-3 दिन उसके बारे में थोड़ा पढ़ा, वल्चर आर्टिकल पढ़े, थोड़ा डेन ऑफ गीक पढ़ा, ये सब किया, किसी डिस्कस किया कि फक डूड क्या था वो यार, वो दैट होल कार्टेल, आई डोंट नो वेयर यू हैव रीच्ड एग्जैक्टली, सो आई एम नॉट गिविंग स्पेसिफिक कि वो क्या था, देन यू आर लाइक ओह फक ये आई डोंट थिंक वो हो रहा है. दैट इज व्हाई पीपल आर just watching.
So with my kids, right, my son is 10, my daughter is I think 27. I've forgotten the exact ages, but some ages they are. And I had to stop them from watching YouTube shorts. I'm like, boss, you have to just watch. You're like, boss, no, you're not watching this. And then I explained to them, I'm like, listen, it's going to make your brain, your attention span crazy smaller. So my son, I started him watching Naruto, right, which they love. All his friends also love. So he's watched 14 episodes of Naruto, but he's watched Naruto-based YouTube videos of hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I wanted to watch the show. So now I'm like insisting that so it's almost like you have to keep vigilant about like what they are consuming, man. And it's become hard for like Dune 2. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to watch it in the theater. Somehow just the time didn't happen. And I saw it on the screen. And I was like so angry with that movie. Did you see it?
I saw in theater.
I didn't enjoy it.
Theater,
Maybe, that's the problem. And I still regret the fact that I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to reveal a spoiler. So if you're not seeing Dune 2, just we can shift to whatever 1 minute later. That guy who's the other bald dude, right? Who's the villain, so to speak, played by that guy who played Elvis or whatever. His introduction scene is he's a gladiator ka sequence, and he fights 2 guys who are drugged and 1 dude who's an old Asian man who's not drugged. And people are like, what a great fighter. I'm like, what a chutiya introduction, dude. Am I supposed to be impressed by him beating up 2 drug dudes and an old Asian dude who is like starved? I thought that was such a horrible introduction for a character. Is it different in the books or something, or what?
No, I haven't read the books, but theater was, again, the sound.
Yeah, the sound, man.
Sound is really good
in
the movie. And the cinematography too.
Like I love Dune 1, I would like say as like probably like 9.5 on 10. This one I was like 6.5 or something.
Really like Dune.
Yeah.
And on when you said the Naruto related thing, I met a cousin and for the first time. So I was like, okay, what are you interested in? I was trying to find common topics. And he said games is what I'm into, and I'm like, shit, I don't play. Games. I'm like, okay, but anyway, what games do you play? He's like, no. I said, no. I said, well, what game? Like, you're into games. What games? No, he just watches YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Of like reaction on games. Like YouTube creators talking
great.
It's great and it's very popular.
Yeah.
I've never done this. I've never seen this. But now I'm aware of it. There's a whole genre.
Dude, there is a guy. There's two channels, okay, that I want to recommend to you, which is just comedically hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Modest Pelican, who's this Australian guy who just he's playing the game और उसका बस audio चल रहा है पीछे, right? He's playing like Grand Theft Auto. I have not played 95% of the 99% of these games, but the videos are just entertaining content. And then there's another guy called Let's Game It Out. Okay, who's this guy called Josh. So what he does is he takes a game and then he fucks it. Like he'll do the worst possible thing. Like if your thing is that I have to build a park to like allow people to have a good time in this park, he will make the park like a hellhole, destroy the park, and then still somehow win. So it's just interesting, like this human psychology, and just very entertaining videos. Like those two guys specifically, very entertaining. And the reaction videos are slightly different because, like, especially if you're targeting, like, I didn't realize how much of these YouTubers are targeting young children, like between the ages of 8 to 14. My God, dude! Like, so my son and me had a conversation about Feastables, Mr. Beast ka whatever jo hai, and he's like, I want it. I'm like, dude, it's crap and it's not meant for your age. So Mr. Beast or whoever, one of these guys, Prime energy drink. Do you know what Prime energy drink is? So Prime energy drink is one of the number one selling energy drinks in the world right now. It is not meant for consumption by children, right? Because the caffeine content apparently is high. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've read from the internet. So I'm like, you're not having this, and I'll tell you why. And he's like, okay, no problem. And then he started convincing his friends not to have it because of that. But a lot of them are targeting young people, so the videos that they do about the reaction videos, like for Minecraft specifically and Roblox, is crazy. Oh my God, what are you doing here, dude? And it's just all this insanity. So what they're watching versus our age group, I've told you two things which are fun, which is Modest Pelican and Let's Game Out. That's like more tolerable for our age group.
But imagine like you're watching these and you're saying you're into games.
That's funny.
You know, it's like, what do you do in your spare time? I'm into reading. Like, oh, okay. But you watch YouTube content of people talking about To Kill a Mockingbird. That's crazy.
That's damn funny.
You know, guys, here, so आज हम देखेंगे LOTR part 1 पढ़ेंगे. क्या नाम है इनका? J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, चलो पढ़ते हैं fellowship. You are not into reading, भाई.
No, but you're reacting, no?
But you're reacting.
You're reacting, you're like, अरे भाई वो गोलम ने क्या किया रे?
गोलम, हाँ, वो
गोलम.
ओ भाई, एक ऐसा अंगूठी होता है भाई. बहुत अंगूठी हो रहे थे बेटा, एक धोखा हो गया भाई.
हाँ, त्रिभुवन दास से खरीद के रखा होगा, इसलिए सब पागल हो रहे हैं उससे.
Crazy, but
yeah, but I would watch that video, dude. That's a great video of like
reason they are popular.
Reaction video to books is great idea.
We should do a series. Reactive तो भाई अभी क्या इसमें अभी क्या होता है वेट करते हैं सुपर चैट आया कुछ लोगों का मैं अरेगॉन की तरह दिख थैंक यू भाई थैंक यू.
Dude, and Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite scenes, which I don't know if it was there in the movie or no, was that spider, right? When they go into that cave and that spider.
Yeah.
Dude, the way it's described in the books is crazy. Oh my God, I remember that scene still.
Yeah.
Because the way that Tolkien described that spider. Now. And that's the other thing I'm watching now. Yeah. So I watched all Lord of the Rings. I watched both the movies thrice and all that shit. And then my wife and her best friend and her husband at the time, we tried to make them watch Lord of the Rings, and they both went to sleep. Yeah. And both of us were disgusted beyond belief. And then we realized that, I don't know, maybe it's targeted at men, or maybe, I don't know what, there's some logic to it. But I'm watching multiple YouTube shorts of behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I doing with my time? But it's time well spent. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. I mean, LOTR, of course, one of the greatest movies ever made. But the making of LOTR, even back in the day, you know, they used to have these CDs and whatever. There are proper documentaries of how it's crazy how that movie was made.
Yeah, but we are watching that. So who are we to judge the gaming guy?
No, never. Not judging. I'm just very amazed, कि भाई क्या चल रहा है यार?
But you've not played any of the, like, not even tried to play any of the games.
Not much. I know you've been into
I've been trying, but
as a kid also you played way more than I have.
Yeah.
But abhi to nahi. Football Manager is that one game I play, guys.
Yeah.
I just want to say it's the best game ever. And you know, लोग बोलते हैं कि लाइफ में क्या इशू चल रहा है. सब अपना कोई इशू बोलते हैं. कोई बड़ी इशू बोलता है वर्ल्ड पॉलिटिक्स, कॉमेडी में people talk about freedom of expression ये वो. मेरा जो सबसे बड़ा इशू है, I can't even talk about it in public, is a Football Manager. For whatever 5% people of this podcast who play, 2025 का जो रिलीज था वो पोस्टपोन हो गया और वो 2026 में आ रहा है.
Sure.
This is the इससे ज़्यादा दुख मुझे किसी न्यूज़ ने नहीं किया. आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू बी ड्रामेटिक बिकॉज एवरी ईयर अ न्यू version of the game comes, right? So I'm very excited. 2021, 22, 23, 24. So 24 के end में I was like, अब ही आएगा नहीं यार, नवंबर में आता है. तो then they said कि March 2025 में आएगा. So I was like, okay, ठीक है, 2-3 महीना. मार्च में दे अनाउंस कि 2025 में बहुत लेट हो गया है, सो नाउ विल डायरेक्टली रिलीज 2026 में फुटबॉल मैनेजर. सो दिस होल ईयर ऑफ माइन आई विल हैव टू प्ले द current / old version of football manager, which can be such a banal thing to say, but it has affected my life so much. मेरा पूरा आपको पता नहीं है how. See, I don't even if five people relate to this, तो और बाकी लोगों को लगेगा क्या privilege problem है, but भाई it's the only game I play. It's the only thing that I do directly which makes me dream. मैं पूरे टाइम सपना देखता हूँ कि मैं इस टीम का मैनेजर हूँ. मैं ट्रैवल करता हूँ सौरभ. When I travel to say a city where my football team is going and where my real life friends live, I send them a photo that hey, I am in Watford today.
Oh, that's now I understand your
Yeah.
Instagram post where I'm like, is this
I'm in Watford and tomorrow I have a match. तो आज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस खत्म करके मैं तुम लोग से मिलता हूँ. इनका ट्रेनिंग देख के रात में मिलते हैं, पार्टी करते हैं.
No, but what does that have to do with the game?
Because the game, I'm the football manager, right?
Yeah.
So I'm traveling with my team.
Like in the game.
In the game. So like if I'm Liverpool's manager and I have an FA Cup match with Watford. So my team, now Liverpool is in Watford for Friday evening. So I'm in Watford. Mentally I'm there. I am living, partial brain of mine is always in my football manager universe is what I'm trying to say before people judge me for.
Yeah, I was also confused. I'm like,
Okay. Let me take that again.
Then it's done.
No, I will take that again. I'll trust your editing.
No,
so
don't
Sorry,
trust.
what football manager is a part of my life where part of my brain is always in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, so like अगर उसमें कल मैच है
हाँ.
तो मैं आपसे अभी बात कर रहा हूँ, बट मेंटली आई नो आई हैव अ मैच अगेंस्ट से Bayern Munich tomorrow and I'm traveling to Germany tomorrow. So some part of my brain is already thinking I'll go to Germany में अनुभव से मिलूंगा, वो वहाँ रहता है, प्रार्थना भी वहाँ रहती है, उससे मिलूंगा.
Oh, you're imagining this reality of
of the game. I am giving press conferences, I have relationship with different players. Like साला बहुत हीरो बन रहा है, so contract नहीं दूंगा इस बार. 10% of my brain.
And Salah is the name of a footballer, not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're just genuinely saying Salah.
Yeah. It's
But what is the update that is going to change your life so much? What is
because एक नया किसी गेम का अपडेट आता है तो
पर
लगता
क्या
है ना,
होगा update
कुछ
में?
तो झिक हो जाता है ना यार गेम में यार. नया गेम का वर्जन आता है, सूट वूट बेटर है. गेम में कुछ नया प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में ज़्यादा अभी जैसे अभी इन द लास्ट फ्यू अपडेट्स ऐसा आफ्टर मैच व्हेन यू गो टू, पहले क्या होता था आफ्टर मैच यू गो टू टॉक टू योर टीम, सो यू हैड लाइक 5 ऑप्शंस टू से आई डिडंट लाइक और नो प्रॉब्लम नेक्स्ट टाइम. फिर विद सम अपडेट्स दे एडेड जेस्चर्स, सो यू कैन बी लाइक raise your hand and do this. कैसा खेला तुम लोग? Then they added things like throw bottles.
Oh shit.
I'm so frustrated. मैं मैन सिटी से हार गया. I go throw bottle. Fuck. Defense was crap. मैं जिसने लाइफ में फुटबॉल नहीं खेला. I think every man, I think there's a secret desire to be either a sports person in life or a sports manager in life. मैं फुटबॉल मैनेजर मैं दिन भर सपने देखता हूँ यार. और वो उसका अपडेट डिले हो गया भाई.
Shit. So you basically wanted the update with the gesture was like stabbing. जो भी अलग आएगा.
कुछ तो नया फैन. So now I have started again. So I gave up and started a new career with the same update. So now I'm the manager of Lajong in Shillong. It's a football club in India. So I'm starting from India और मैं already सपना देख रहा हूँ कि मैं Lajong.
अच्छा तो इंडिया का भी है इसमें. मस्त. वाह.
So I'm Lajong Shillong Red Dragons. If there's any fan of Lajong watching, I'm Lajong's manager right now. Please.
Wow, dude.
So I'm already Durant Cup finalist and then अभी लीग शुरू होने वाला है. So अभी मैं ऑलरेडी सपना देख रहा हूँ कि लजोंग में इतना पॉपुलर हो जाऊंगा तो मैं किसी फ्रेंच लीग के लीग 2 में मुझे कहीं नौकरी मिल जाएगा. मैं धीरे धीरे वहाँ पॉपुलर हो जाऊंगा. फिर मैं ऐसा बुंदेसलीगा, ला लीगा, टियर 2 जाके इवेंचुअली ऐसा सेविया और लाइक धीरे धीरे इंग्लैंड में जाऊँगा, बर्मिंघम सिटी एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. Eventually Liverpool will recognize me and maybe by 2029, 30, 32 I'll be Liverpool's manager.
Wow.
And
this
then
is
Real
all
Madrid.
happening in real time.
This is my part of my brain is always there.
So in 4 years in your fictional universe, you are going to be the manager.
Oh no,
of
this is
Liverpool.
not happening in real. So वो चलता रहेगा. मतलब I can reach 2032 in a few weeks also.
अच्छा. So this can happen fast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
There are job interviews. Okay, I have to say this now that we've reached here. Wedding, one of the most important parts of your life. We had a wedding ceremony in Bombay, as you know. Then we had a reception in Delhi.
हाँ.
So 23rd Feb we finished this. 24th we reached Delhi. 25th we have wedding reception in Delhi. Now 24th.
I already know where this is going. This is dangerous territory. Yeah.
24th evening is of course a very busy time for my recently wedded wife and family and everyone. So we have a lot of things to do. Now we have to leave to go somewhere. And I have an interview with Juventus. Juventus is a huge Italian club.
Even I know Juventus.
Yeah. Very respectful. क्या position है वो? उसके पहले I think I was Sevilla's manager. Juventus के साथ मेरा interview है. मतलब I am like, why I have to crack this by. I'm in my room and I can do this later also, guys. Obviously, it's not live, so I can switch off the laptop, come back and do it. But how to live with that anxiety कि मेरा क्या होगा Juventus के interview में? So I'm like, and then I think somebody came and like, let's leave. It's 8. We have a dinner. And this is one thing you can't even tell anyone by. You can't tell कि मैं क्या काम कर रहा हूँ. इतना क्या important काम है? You know your calendar is fully free. I can't even tell कि guys मेरा इंटरव्यू चल रहा है. कौन सा इंटरव्यू? एक गेम में मैं एक क्लब का मैनेजर बनने के लिए बोर्ड के साथ इंटरव्यू कर रहा हूँ. So I sent it to a few friends of mine just to get this out.
Yeah.
But friends like Azim will totally get
Azim,
this.
so I've seen him do football manager.
Yeah.
Now I'm beginning to understand the psycho type because he sometimes just like tunes out when you're talking to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm really busy with football manager. I'm like, randomly.
No. Azim and I proper like, इस बार career कहाँ से शुरू कर रहे हैं and all of that. Again, I was in a train station in England.
1 second. So did you do the interview?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I did that interview. I sent photos to all my friends saying, guys, लोग मुझे बुला रहे हैं but मेरा Juventus interview है. And they were like, भाई, of course Juventus interview ज़्यादा important.
Can I ask you a question? So 8 is, and what time was the dinner?
Oh, no. It barely took 5-10 minutes.
अच्छा.
For everything.
I thought like
but yeah,
proper 1.5 घंटे का interview.
No. 5-10. I just had to give some answers उसमें कि you vision for the club and what will you change and how much transfer budget you need, things like that.
I have a critical question to ask you. Did you get the job?
Yes, I got.
Oh, congratulations.
So it was totally worth it. That's why it's a great memory.
So to say, and now here's my final follow-up question to this.
Yeah.
What is the happiest moment in that day for you? Was it
getting Juventus' job?
Not the wedding.
Juventus का नौकरी fictional game में मिल गया और क्या चाहिए? So sorry. So again, Azim will relate to this. कि Azim, there's a club called Crew Alexandria, I think. Sorry, वो नाम गलत होगा तो बाद में प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. I'll take this again. Sorry, मैं आपका एडिट का काम बढ़ा रहा हूँ.
You realize I'm genuinely not going to cut it.
Please edit, please.
नहीं, reels में निकाल देंगे. पर हाँ, इसमें full podcast में तो इसमें अभी मजा आने वाला है. People are going to be like Sorabh ignored him completely.
Guys, just disclaimer, there are many points in this video where I asked Sorabh to edit, but he's probably not going to edit.
Yeah.
Including this part.
Yeah.
Okay, so railway station came, which was basically मैं ट्रेन में था and station came जो station जहाँ अजीम उस शहर के क्लब से अपना फुटबॉल मैनेजर करियर जनरली शुरू करता है. Okay, everybody has a club they start with. तो I sent him photo and all. We felt like अरे यार मैं यहाँ पे हूँ यार. And he's like, oh my god, yes, that's my. And I fully imagining कि अजीम इस शहर में रहता था, जाता होगा, यहाँ का क्लब मैनेज करता होगा, फिर कभी कभी वो ट्रेन लेके लिवरपूल आके मेरे से भी मिल लेगा.
And meanwhile, you both are in Car West station.
Both like are somewhere in Car West.
This is when you start realizing the distance between reality and life, dude.
Yeah.
Shit.
So when people say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm very busy in life.
This sounds like a full time. You're the only person who's going to be commenting, can't believe GTA 6 came before Football Manager 5. You're the only person on earth who's doing this. Crazy.
Football Manager.
No, sir, I don't think you have time for any gaming. I was going to recommend a few games. I'm like, forget it.
Football Manager just... Yeah. It's just so good, bhai. If you love football, no. Because it's the perfect amount of activity also. कि आप FIFA वगैरह खेलते हो, कोई भी गेम तो आपको पूरे टाइम एक्टिव रहना पड़ता है ना. इसमें it's proper managerial job. It's pickleball of football. Pickleball of video game. I feel optimum level of effort और energy आपको डालना है. कि आपने क्लिक किया, मैच शुरू हो गया, फिर आप देख रहे हैं बस क्या.
अच्छा तो मैच भी देखते हो ऐसा पूरा 90 मिनट का मैच
मतलब you can increase speed and
that's what he keeps doing that. I've seen Azim do that. I'm like, what the hell are you watching? Oh, it's this.
You can change speed की फट.
But जब मैच देख रहे हो, can you influence the outcome in any way?
Yeah, you can. You substitute everything that a manager. You can substitute. You can touchline shout, encourage, berate.
पर फर्क पड़ता है क्या?
I think so. I would like to believe I have made differences to many football
Have
clubs.
you ever, I mean, like, because this is like the experiment, right? A lab testing you have to do without anything and then with making effort. Have you ever watched a match without doing anything? And
हाँ.
कुछ फर्क पड़ा कि नहीं?
नहीं, you also do that when the teams are, जैसे कोई बहुत वीक टीम है, कोई लीग कप मैच है, तो ज़रूरत ही नहीं है अपना टीम
करने
3-0 4-0 कर दिया, आराम से बैठे.
मस्त है. Congrats on your career in football manager.
Lajong is where I am. I'm very excited. India में.
Good, yeah. I mean, you're promoting football in India in your mind.
In my mind.
In your mind, yeah.
In Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, Shillong.
Oh, that's a good stadium. I've seen that stadium. It's a nice stadium. Nice.
That's my day job. That's where I spend all of my day. मैं proper visualize करता हूँ. सुबह उठ के निकला, walk करके गया. कुछ एक दो लोग पहचानते भी हैं. Like ये manager निकले. Full Ted Lasso type. I just walk around and.
My God, I'm glad we stumbled upon this.
I'm glad I admitted something in public.
Because I have seen Azim do this so often, and I've always been confounded कि क्या कर रहा है बंदा. And now after seeing you, I'm like, okay, this is a problem and a joy to both of you, which is fine. Good. Whatever helps us escape the reality of life.
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically the end goal of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Varun, this has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for sharing your world with us.
Yes.
Your worldview with us. Before we leave, a couple of things. Thanks a lot to all the people who gave money on PayPal, InstaMojo, etc. to keep things running. And also, there's a couple of people who are giving super chats. I really appreciate it. This is a break from all the cricket stuff, so I hope you enjoyed it. Leave in comments. डालते रहो, कुछ भी बोला तो बोलते रहो कि क्या interesting लगा. Any insights outside. Anything you'd like to promote, sir? Anything that's coming up?
We are doing the quiz shows season 4.
You're doing live also, no?
Yeah, live quiz shows. If you guys are into quizzing, this is the first time ever that we are doing teams of 2, because that's how we used to quiz in college, right? Like you go with a partner who knows something that you don't, and you guess together, like discuss and guess and all. First time ever we are doing quiz shows with teams of 2, and first time ever we are doing prize money. There is something on the table. If you win the quiz, you get 20,000 rupees.
Can I give a suggestion for how this prize money works?
Yes.
You can have each team write down how many points they think they're going to get. And if it matches with what they have, then they get the whole ticket sales of the whole venue.
No.
It's an idea I came upon.
No. 20,000 regardless of 20,000 to the winner for every show. So 4 shows in Bombay now. We'll come to Bangalore very soon, and maybe to other cities also after that.
I've done 3 of those live shows, or 2 maybe. It's damn good fun, dude. Especially when you're teamed up like as a comedian with somebody who actually knows shit. That's damn good fun.
Guys, it's on YouTube, but one of the most fun shows we ever did was Hyderabad with Sorabh Pant, Prashasti and Naveen Richard.
Oh, that was damn good
Oh
fun.
man, crazy quiz. Thank you, Sorabh, again for that.
Oh, dude, that was super fun. And I remember we were on the first floor looking down at people diligently writing, and all 3 of us are like, wow, these people are taking this shit really seriously. And Naveen is like, yeah, I think they are. You know nothing, dude.
Too good.
So there are tickets available on Book My Show.
Yes,
So check it out. It's very interesting. I mean, even if you're not into quizzing, go check it out. It's actually very fascinating to watch, because there'll be something interesting to learn every single episode, because you are KV eventually. I have no shows coming up. If you want to hire me for corporate shows, please do private shows. Private shows are great fun. I've been enjoying private shows a lot recently. I did a Gujarati show full in Hindi, and they said no below the belt jokes, which I somehow managed. It's great fun. So yeah, ping if you have any shows, any college, if you want to sponsor this podcast, let us know. Thanks a lot for watching, Mr. Varun. It's always a pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure to associate with you, and best of luck with the Lajong.
I think that's how it's pronounced, but spelled Lajong.
If it's incorrect, let us know. We'll correct ourselves next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave comments, likes, share, subscribes, and a lot of podcasts. Previously, Shoaib Akhtar, we did a lot of stuff for the IPL. I think the Robin Uthappa one should be out as well. The Great Cricketer should be out as well. A lot of stuff about cricket, a lot of stuff about general stuff. Thanks a lot for watching. Love you all. Marry me. Goodbye.
Marry.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Damn
Thank
good
you.
fun, dude. I like how I didn't have to look at half my notes only.